Welcome back to Walking Side by Side with Jesus, where we're looking this week at how if we will walk side by side with Jesus, we'll one day get to reign with Him. Now, on Monday, Jesus was headed up to the temple of God. That was like church for the Jews. Now, in that day, the temple of God had two courts. Had an inner court where the Jews would pray. Oh, isn't it awesome to be God's chosen people? And it had an outer court where the Gentiles or everybody else would pray. Lord, I lift your name on high. And as Jesus walked into the outer court, He was surrounded by people that were just talking, and there was so much noise and commotion, and everybody was shoving and pushing because, see, the outer court was filled to the brim with merchant stalls selling people things. Turtle doves for sale! Get your turtle doves for sale here! You can't have a sacrifice to God without your turtle dove! Now, what they were selling was stuff to be sacrificed. And this was kind of a good thing because you needed a sacrifice in order to come to God. But the people weren't really interested in helping others. All they cared about is what they could get out of it. God, I'm just so glad to be here to just kind of seek after. Could you give me a little bit of room, please? Jesus, He got angry about this. Because the Gentiles, everybody else, they didn't have a place that they could come and be able to focus on God and worship God. And so Jesus began to take some leather strips laying around and weave them into a whip. Oh, what you gonna do with that? And whenever He got done making that whip, He went around the outer court, turning the merchants' tables over, spilling their coins and knocking their stuff over, and taking the whip and whipping them. Oh, snap! And running them out of the temple. And He said to them, my Father's house is supposed to be a house of prayer, and you've turned it into a den of thieves. See, the merchants weren't concerned about anybody really seeking God. What they were more concerned about was what they could get out of it, their blessing. And sadly, you find that kind of happening in the American church today. See, now, first and foremost, you've got to seek God. Whenever you're a new Christian, you've got to spend time seeking God, learning about God, learning everything you can. And ultimately, you've got to continue to do that. But sometimes we come to church and our main focus is what can I get out of it? Going to get my blessing, going to get my blessing. Me, 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 me. Bless me, Jesus, bless me, Jesus. It's about what I want and what I can get, rather than looking and going, how can I help other people? How can I help somebody else? How can I be a blessing to somebody else? And see, if our whole focus is me, 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 then God, He's going to drive us out of His presence. Come on, get on out, get on out. But whenever we come into His presence and we say, oh, I really want to be a blessing to somebody else, then God is going to welcome us into His presence. Welcome in! Come into my Father's presence! Oh, yeah!